I'd like to congratulate Bill de Blasio on winning the Democratic nomination. I'm looking forward to a vigorous debate over the next 2 months about issues that are of concern to all New Yorkers, about how we're going to make our streets safe, how we're going to reform our schools, and how we're going to create a private sector economy that creates new jobs and good paying jobs here in the city of New York. I can't overemphasize enough how I'm looking forward to having a vigorous debate about the issues as we move forward, and about how I'm different and my views and my vision for change is different than Bill de Blasio. It's going to be a great campaign for all New Yorkers. They're going to see different points of view, very divergent different points of view about the direction that the city wants to go in. Again, I want to thank and congratulate Bill de Blasio for winning the Democratic nomination. Questions? No questions? Hi, Jill.
Okay. So the first phase of this campaign against Katzimatidis was pretty colorful. You were accused of being a kitten killer. There were some hot jokes involved. Are you looking, or do you expect the next phase of this to be a more mature level of debate?
I'm prepared for anything that happens in the debate, one way or the other. I don't, I think there are enough issues to talk about for New Yorkers about the vision of the future. My opponent in the primary wanted to talk about me and not talk about what he wanted to do. I think my opponent in the general election really wants to talk about his vision for New York, and I want to talk about my vision for New York, and I do think it'll be a much more mature debate.
What will we see from you in the coming days? Will you be out more? What's on your agenda?
I will be out more. I'll be in different parts of the city. I did different things today. I'll make sure I invite the press. Many of the meetings I had today were private, but I will make sure that you're invited, and there'll be different things that I'll be going to. You'll get the schedule as we do every night.
Anything specifically in terms of types of things, raising money?
There are some fundraising every day, no question about that in some way, shape, or form, but also campaigning in all 5 boroughs every single day. Look, I'm going to reach out to all communities of the city. I'm going to make sure that there's not a community that I don't reach out to and listen to, and then try to be able to work with them and tell them exactly what I will do for them and for their community. And specifically where I'll be going every day, every night, we'll put out a schedule which is both some things will be for the president and some things will be with the president.
So do you think that facing Bill de Blasio is better than facing Bill Thompson, because de Blasio is obviously far left of center and he's cast as the progressive in the race, and this offers you an opportunity to perhaps be the moderate, the centrist?
Look, talking about process and talking about campaign strategy through the press is always a dangerous thing to do. I again want to congratulate Bill, and let me take this opportunity to congratulate Bill Thompson as well for running such a very good campaign. Bill Thompson has been a friend of mine now for almost 25 to 30 years, I feel for him, but nonetheless, this is the way electoral politics works. And again, so talking about whose position is where and strategy, I'm going to avoid that for the time being.
Just a quick follow-up. When you do talk to Republican strategists, they say that Bill de Blasio will bring us back to the 1970s, and there's a lot of what some on the Democratic side will say is fear-mongering, saying that we're going to have crime will spike, that this conversation about stopping Christmas, where road would be different. Do you think that come the 1970s and crime will spike, and New York will just become this disastrous place again?
I want to talk about the future of the city of New York, not necessarily talking about the past. I want to talk to the future about what I want for the city of New York. And by the way, whoever these Republican consultants you're talking to, none of them work for me. So be careful who you're talking to.
What are your thoughts on the theme of this campaign, that there's a tale of 2 cities in New York? And
I believe that the Tale of 2 Cities is a divisive device that he's using. It's a divide and conquer strategy. It's class warfare. What we need to do to deal with income inequality, which we have in the city, is talking about what programs we're going to have to be able to deal with the income inequality. How we're going to make New York affordable, how we're going to make affordable housing more plentiful in the city of New York, what we're going to do to keep our streets safe, and how we're going to create good jobs, not just any kind of jobs, career jobs, to allow people who want to aspire to be in the middle class to get them into the middle class. It is a much better way to talk about the problems of income inequality, to talk about what we'll do as each one of us as mayor, instead of using divisive language like A Tale of Two Cities, or like his last commercial said, those people who live on Park Avenue. That's code. It's code for divisiveness, and I won't stand for it, and I won't let them get away with it.
Are you surprised at the outcome that there isn't going to be a role model that they're
I'm not surprised at the outcome, but I think Bill Thompson said it so well today that we have got to do something about modernizing the Board of Elections in the city of New York. We are the largest city in this country, the capital of the world, and we need to find machines that can count. We need to be able to make sure that our Board of Elections is at the highest possible level and quality. It's not right now, and you know, the election was 6 days ago, almost 7 days ago. We shouldn't have to wait this long to get the readings and all the rest of it. As you know, when I went to my polling place, the machine was broken. I had to vote by emergency ballot. I mean, it's just really sad.
Mr. Lhota, how do you feel about it?
I'm sorry?
So there's a chance your ballot is one of those that hasn't even been counted yet?
It's very possible. It's very, very possible.
You said
Yes,
how do
Tiwa.
you feel about facing a candidate so different from your political perspective?
I think it's an excellent opportunity for New Yorkers to look at the future of the city of New York and who has the best vision for the city of New York, how to move us forward, how to keep crime down, but most importantly, how to make this a city where we can create good-paying jobs, and as I mentioned before, jobs that are not just good-paying jobs, but careers in the city of New York, how we're going to get our economy moving again, how we're going to create affordable housing and make New York City more affordable. There is a stark difference between us, and New Yorkers will have a real choice.
They've mentioned a lot of Democratic candidates have mentioned improving education. How do you feel about the state of the education here, the public education here now compared to 20 years ago?
The public education system today than 20 years ago is better than it was 20 years ago, but just marginally. There's a lot more that has to go. You know, I've campaigned now in the Republican primary since mid-January, and I have been talking about the need to reform our public education system, how we need to support our teachers. We need to give our teachers the training necessary and the professional development necessary, all of them to become excellent teachers. I want to work with the union to make sure that the teachers have the resources necessary to do jobs. I want to make sure that our children get the best possible education. I really cannot overemphasize enough how much I want our children to be prepared. If I'm successful in having the private sector create jobs in New York City, I want the people of New York City and the children of New York City to be able to get those jobs. It is very, very important that they get properly educated, and I will work day and night, every single day, to make sure that we reform our education system and make it the best in the country.
You said a couple times two big differences between the two of you. What do you see on day one as sort of the core biggest difference between yourself?
There are a lot of core biggest differences. I've mentioned a couple of them already. I think, you know, I've mentioned this over the weekend on some of the weekend news shows. You know, whenever Bill wants to create a new program like universal pre-K, which I support the creation of universal pre-K. However, there's no reason that we need to raise taxes for universal pre-K. It's less than 1% of our entire city budget. We should be looking for the efficiencies within our budget to pay for that. I would encourage, you know, I think that is one major difference. Our taxes are the highest in the country from a municipal standpoint, and I've said this over and over again. We do not have a revenue problem. We have a spending problem, and we need to get our spending under control.
Joe, do you think is there any discrepancy coming in fundraising? How do you feel about your ability to have fundraising or at least match?
I think that we'll be on parity. We both can spend no more than $6.2 million under the Campaign Finance Board rules. Both of us are participating in the Campaign Finance Board rules, and he's a little bit ahead of me right now. He had to spend, you know, more in this race than he probably thought he would. So I'm not that far behind from where he is now, and I feel very comfortable that I will be able to raise the maximum amount that I'm allowed to raise to be able to prosecute a very, very vigorous campaign.
Bill de Blasio has said that he's offering people a progressive change, and you said the kind of change you're offering is very different. Your type of change is...
You know, I think Bill de Blasio's change is radical. My change is practical. It's straightforward. It's to be able to build upon what we have done, not tear down what has happened. We've got to be able to build upon this. There are some things that'll change. But the most important thing that I will change compared to what we have right now in our government is going out to the communities throughout the entire city of New York and listening to them. The most important thing a mayor can do is not stay in Lower Manhattan and make decisions. What the mayor needs to do is go out into the communities, listen to the communities, and then collectively make the decisions. I will make the decisions as all mayors do, but I will do it with input from the communities, which I think is so important. I said it during the campaign, I reiterated it on Tuesday night in my acceptance speech, that I want to reinstate the town hall meetings that used to be held once a month, where I will bring all of my deputy mayors, all of my commissioners to the largest auditorium, and I'll pick a different community board every month, and bring all of my immediate staff, commissioners, as well as deputy mayors, for 2 to 3 hours, and answer any questions. And these aren't going to be ticketed events. They will be advertised in neighborhoods, and you come and you sit, and you'll be able to ask me or any of my commissioners messages. And one of my deputy mayors, probably whoever my deputy mayor for operations is, and don't ask me what it is, I have no idea, who will be in charge of follow-up and making sure that whatever question is asked by the people, that there's follow-up directly with that person, because I don't want anybody to ask the mayor a question and not get an answer. All right? Thanks very much. I appreciate it. Have a good evening.